All right, good morning. I'm gonna give you a few seconds here just to figure out what you're looking for. I'll put my phone up here, make sure everybody can hear me. I'm in my home gym this morning. It's being well loved over this time of stay at home, namaste at home. So welcome to the home gym of the McFerren household. This morning I've got a pair of 3-pound weights and 5-pound weights. You could do 2, you could do 5 and 15. For the heavier portion, we're using them basically as weight to get into the legs. So you could use 10-pound, 15-pound for that second heavier pair of weights. And the higher reps we're doing with a lighter set of weights. So 2 or 3-pound weights will probably work for that. If you've got a block for the bar portion, that's probably a good idea. Maybe something to hang on to for part of the bar portion. I do have a ballet bar in my room, but you could use a chair, you could use the edge of a treadmill, you could use a wall. So that's not really something that you absolutely need to have. Cleaning up my kids' crap. Give me 1 second here. And then I have a little core slider. A little disc like this, which you might have. If you don't, grab a slippery little paper plate to use instead. And we'll get started here in just a moment. We'll give everybody an opportunity to gather what they need. I'll take that last swig of coffee and we'll get going. So again, a lighter pair of weights, maybe a heavier pair of weights, maybe you don't need that. A core slider or a slippery paper plate. I've got a block for the bar portion and something to hang on to. When we do part of this. You can always use the block for part of the bar portion too. So if you've got it, grab it, and let's get started. So step with your feet about hip width apart in Tadasana width and begin to roll those shoulders back, just opening up the chest and opening up the shoulders, whatever you might have done as you slept. Perhaps this will be productive for you as it was for me this morning. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And taking some sun breath now, sweep those arms all the way up. Stretch long and through heart center and do that again. Inhale, reach up. And hands through heart center. Do that one more time. Inhale, stretch long. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, just because it feels so good. Steeple those fingers, take a little crescent moon. And take that over to the right. And bring it back to center. Step your feet a little bit wider now, maybe into goddess squat or second position width. And begin to roll those shoulders out again. Take that same sequence, rolling those shoulders out. And one more time, big roll of the shoulders. Nice big sun breath, inhale. This time as we draw hands to heart, bend those knees, start to get into your hips. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, knees bend. And do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, knees bend. Little pulse here. Find those hips and hip flexors and hamstrings this morning. Let it be a little wiggly. Move around a little bit here. Beautiful. And then as we stretch our legs long, we'll stretch our arms forward. And as we bend the knees, we'll reach those arms back, chest forward. So rise and tap and bend. Stretch the chest forward, arms back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more slow, and then we'll just start to move a little bit. Exhale. Start to move. Tap and back and tap. Keep the eyes forward, your chest open, your pelvic floor lifted, and your core strong. So start to feel that fire in the base of your pelvis and in your core. Always keeping that going with a little fire down there. Keep it going. 4 more here. Wide. 3 more. Wide. 2. And last one. Hop or heel toe your feet back to center and take a forward bend. Nice and sweet. Easy knees. Bend your knees. And bring it all the way down. Catch your breath. Roll those shoulders out. Shake your head out, knowing yes. Beautiful. And bring your hands on up to your waist and rise up, grabbing that lighter pair of weights. We're going to start with arms today. So grab the lighter pair of weights and step your feet more to a sumo squat width, so between second position and Tadasana width. So a tiny bit wider than the hips, toes turn slightly out. Little bend to those knees, thighs go back, chest is forward, gaze is forward. We're bringing those elbows in towards the ribs, palms turn forward. As we bend forward, we'll reach those weights arms long, and as we stand up, we're bringing those elbows back to the ribs, palms forward. We'll do a set of 8 at a 4 count, a set of 8 at a 2 count, and a set of 8 at a single count. Let's get started here. So we're coming in, 2, 3, 4, bringing it back, 2, 3, 4. Keep pressing down into those feet. Fire up your pelvic floor and your core. Bring energy up your body. Here's 3, 2, 3, 4, and back. 2, 3, 4. It doesn't go very quickly when we do it in 4s, does it? And here's back. 2, 3, 4. And if you're finding that this weight is too light, by all means grab those heavier weights. Here's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it back. 2, 3, 4, and 7. Taking it really slow. 8, 2, 3, 4. Here's 8. And back. 2, 3. Doing 2s now. Down in 2 and back in 2. Anchoring down into those heels to press yourself long. Here's 3. Lift the chest. 4. And lift the chest. 5. Lift the chest. 6. Lift. 7. Lift. Last one, we're moving to singles and lift. Here we go. We're coming down and back and down and back. Here's 3. Pull those elbows in. 4. 5. Drive the heels into the floor. And 7. And 8. Bowing forward, let those arms dangle. Give your shoulders a roll and a shake. Soften your knees, strong core. Almost a little chair pose, but the heart is leaning forward. Gaze is slightly forward. And bring those arms down to a dangle. Soften your elbows, chest flies, bringing it wide and down. And up in 2 and down in 2. Up in 2 and down in 2. Again, if you need heavier or lighter weights, you're going to grab those. Here's 5 and down. Keep that tailbone up, chest forward. And 7, elbows are a little soft, shoulders are soft. And 8 and down. And single flies coming up and down. And 2, lead with the elbows, strong core. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice job. Stand on up, roll those shoulders out. Drop your weights for a moment and bring your hands behind your back. Take a nice little forward fold, a little wider legs. Stretch out the biceps, shoulders, shake your head out no and yes. And just give yourself a moment to catch your breath again. Make sure everybody can hear me and see me. Hey Keith, hey Faith, hey Hallie, hey Natalie, hey Darby, hey Jeff. And release your arms, come back up to stand, grab your weights. Again, you can use those heavier weights or grab the light ones. I'll definitely give that option for the heavier weights as we move to the last sequence. So coming into a Tadasana space here, we're doing some bicep curls. So we'll step back and curl and in. Same leg, left leg goes back and in. And back and in. Get a rhythm here. And back and in. Stepping back to that long lunge. Not a hinge lunge, long lunge. So we want to stretch way back through that left leg as much as we can. And here's our last one. Here's 8. Stepping back, we'll pause and hold. Now, we'll come in 3 and down in 1. Drop those weights. Pulsing the back knee as we do so. We're coming up, 2, 3, lengthen legs. Up, 2, 3, lengthen legs. Now, if lengthening your legs throws you off balance, I want you to just keep the knee bent and lengthen. Here's 4, 2, 3, and lengthen. Now, don't forget about the pelvic floor and core. Keep lifting the pelvic floor and the core so you have energy moving through your whole body, not just your biceps and your legs. Here we go. 2, 3, lift. We've got 4 more here. We're doing 12 on this one. And here's 10, 2, 3, lift. 11, 2, 3, long legs if you can. Last one, long legs, bend your knees. Wiggle back into that heel. Take those palms, turn them slightly back. A little bit of tricep work now. So if I turn, I will be on the wrong leg. All right, left leg is back. Right knee is over the heel. Palms turn up. We're doing a little bit of a tricep pulse here. So pull your belly in again, pelvic floor in and up, core in and up. Little pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bend that back knee now. We've got a little bend and stretch, bend and stretch, bend and stretch, lift. 2. And lift. Here's 3. And lift. And 4. And lift. And 5. And lift. And 6. Pulse, pulse, and lift. Here's 7. And lift. And 8. And lift. Stretch that leg long. Bring the biceps in again. Step forward, little chair pose. Lower and lift. Little pulses every time. Lift that left heel away from the floor now. Add a little degree of complication. That right hip is feeling it, right? Lower, lift. Lower, lift. Lower, lift. 4 more here. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Stand on up, shake your legs out. If you need to take a standing pigeon, you can hang on to something, cross that right ankle. Give that right leg some love. Catch your breath. So let that right knee widen out, thighs wide, seat wide, heart is forward. And we'll take that whole thing to the other side. So shake your legs out. Stepping forward now, keeping the left foot anchored. We'll step back with that right foot as we do some bicep curls. We'll hold and pulse. 3 in, 1 down. We'll move to triceps. So I'll turn when we do that, and then we'll move back to that standing pigeon as a release. All right, so keeping the left foot where it is. Hands next to the thighs. We're stepping back and in. Getting into that bicep curl, finding some balance here. Not forgetting about the pelvic floor and core. Whew, my ankle just cracked. 7 and 8. Bringing it back now to a hold. 2, 3, extend. Hold. 2, 3, extend. You can find that little pulse here. Extend the legs. Pulse. Pulse. Curl. Extend. Pulse. Pulse. Curl. I'm having an issue with balance this morning. Pulse. Pulse. And extend. Pulse. 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 Extend. And again, if you just want to hold here, you can do that. And you don't have to extend your leg either. If you're finding balance a challenge like me this morning. Find that fire, pelvic floor and core again. Whoo, we've got 4 more here. Curl, curl, and down. Curl, 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 extend. Curl, 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 extend. Last one. Curl, extend. Holding that lunge. Flip those palms back. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We've got the little bend, 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 and lift, and bend, 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 and lift. If you want to bend that back knee a little bit, if that helps you hold the pose, do that. And lift. We've got a bend, 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 and lift, and bend, bend, bend. We've got 4 more here. I know I lost count. It's probably going to end up being 10 instead of 8, but that's okay. And lift. We've got 2 more. Bend, bend, and lift. Last one. Bend, bend, and lift. Turning those forward. We're stepping up into that chair pose. Hover the right heel. We've got a pulse and curl and pulse and curl. That left leg is feeling it. Keep hugging that hip in. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice job. Shake your legs out. Woo! Set those weights down. Give that left leg some love. Standing pigeon pose. Shake out that left hip and thigh. Nice job. Gotta catch my breath. All right, now opportunity to grab those heavier weights. So we're coming into more of a hinge lunge position this time. So stepping that right foot forward, left foot back, but keeping the back hip over the back knee rather than lengthening long through that leg. So we're in a little more narrow base here. Again, pelvic floor lifts, core is strong. Weights stay right next to those hips. Right foot forward, left foot back, left hip over the knee, right knee over the heel. Staying here. You can grab those heavier weights. We're not going high with these weights, all right? So little pulses here. Squeeze those legs together. Keep hugging the hips in. Belly strong. Keep it going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Widen those arms now. Pulse and wide and pulse. You can come as wide as those weights will permit. If you're coming all the way to a T, just keep those elbows and shoulders soft. We're going 12 on each. Here's 10, 11, and 12. Hold at the bottom. Let those weights dangle for a moment. And we're lifting the elbows up and back. So again, that hinge lunge. Elbows come up and back. Chest stays forward. And lower. Lift. Lower. Lift. Lower. You can go up to a 10 or 15 pound weight with these if you've got them. We got a lot of 2 for today. Last one. And step it forward. Coming out of that hinge lunge, we're coming to the other side. Left foot stays forward, right foot steps back. Again, we're in that hinge lunge position. We're only coming to that wide V. So if you need a heavier pair of weights, grab them. Whew. Step back with the right foot. Right hip is over the right knee, left knee is over the left heel. Let those weights dangle. Heavier shoulders. Strong pelvic floor and core. Keep the fire. Wide and in. Wide and in. If the pulse helps you, do the pulse. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 12 here. 9. Keep driving that left heel into the ground. 11 and 12. Hold at the bottom. Let the shoulders be soft. We're lifting the elbows lower. 2, 3. Don't forget about the core. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 4 more here. You're just lifting those elbows up and back. I know your legs are burning. Mine are too. And we'll step it forward. Give those legs a shake. And set your weights down. Oh, thank goodness. Give a little baby dancer pose here. Again, maybe hanging onto that surface that you've got. Oh, that feels good. And stretch out those quads. Again, a little twofer. Take it to the other side. Stretch out that opposite leg. And let's get moving a little bit. Although our heart rates are probably up, we're going to get those legs moving, move into some glutes and thighs, and then some core. Here we go. Little step taps here. Bring your hands to your hips. Keep that heart rate up. Step, tap, step, tap, step, tap. Bring the arms forward and wide. Forward and wide. Forward and wide. Forward and wide. Keep it going. Switch it up where you're going wide. So now we're wide to the other side. Keep it going. Adding a little hamstring curl. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. Every time you kick that heel into your seat, pull it back. Here's 5, 6, oh, that feels good on my quads. 7, and 8. Nice job. Step your feet wide, interlace, and take a shoulder and a hip and hamstring rinse. Whew, maybe a little bend, and shift to each side, rinsing out those hips and hammies. Got a little treat for you with that slider. So you can grab that slider or that paper plate now. Place it under your left toes. I'm actually going to hang on to the bar here, if I can get there. So I'm going to place that slider underneath my left toes. Right foot is forward, and I'm sliding back into a lunge. If you've got a wall to hang on to, you can do that, or a chair, or the treadmill, or whatever you have. And we're doing a little bit of work with hip flexors and quads. All right, so we're coming in and back, tiny little inches, and back. Here's 3, 4, 5. Not a lot of legs today because we did a lot of legs with the arms. We've got 8 more here. 8, 7. Pelvic floor core. Keep it fiery. 5. 4 more. 3 more. 2. And 1. Bow slightly forward. Slide that disc in so you have a bend in your knee. We're going back, 2, 3, slide it in. Going back, 2, 3, and in. Going back, 2, 3, and in. Just, this is the last one. You got it. Hug it in. Nice job. Shake your legs out. Ooh, the paper plate's stuck to my foot now. All right, shake those legs out. We got the other side. Bring it underneath the right foot. Left foot steps forward. Glide back into your high lunge. Again, in and back. Tiny little bits. 16 counts. That's all you've got, all right? In a little, back a little. In, back. Pelvic floor core. Be super mindful. Don't let that go. Stay tall. Here's 6 and 7 and 8. We've got 8 more here. Tiny in, tiny back. Tiny in and back. Here's 6, 5. You thought I was going up, didn't you? 3, 2, and 1. Slight bow forward. Slide that foot in. We're going back 3. Hugging it all in for 1. We've only got 4 of these. Here we go. We're sliding back, 2, 3, hug it in. Sliding back, 2, 3, hug it in. Last 2, you've got it. Make it good. Core strong, 2, 3, hug it in. And shake it out. Whew. All right, so here's our last glute and thigh. We'll move to a little bit of core before we move into a half an hour of flow. So if you've got your soft block, or maybe you've got one of these little soft Pilates balls, maybe, or maybe you don't have any of those, or a playground ball, you can grab those. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Don't use anything. I'll model both. So coming onto your surface, a wall, a chair, a bar, come up onto the balls and tippy toes of your feet. Bend your knees. Wide thighs. Feel that tailbone lift. Strong core, strong pelvic floor. Heart reaches towards the surface. So don't bend forward to look down at your knees and thighs. Keep your heart lifted. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. You can do that without the block or ball. 4. Just gives you a little bit of resistance. 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't lose the fire in the core. Little pulses down. 3, 4. I'm shaking. My legs are shaking. 7, 8. I'm glad this is the last glute and thigh thing, or I'm going to embarrass myself. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Maybe you can take your hands off of that bar or that surface. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch out those legs. Woo! Bring it down to table. Grab your disc one last time. We've got a little core, and then we'll stretch and move on to the flow portion of our practice today. All right, so bringing yourself down to table, tuck that paper plate underneath the left toes. So here's going to be the variation if you don't want to come up to a full plank pose. Feel your belly draw in, pelvic floor in and up. So we want that strength even here in table pose. Knees underneath the hips, hands under the shoulders. Slide that disc back, slide it in. Don't drop the knee. Keep the pelvic floor and core engaged. Slide it back, slide it in. Now, your second option, you can keep going if you're in table. Your second option is to come to full plank, feet a little wider than the hips, hands under the shoulders. Curl in and back, in and back. Here's 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Staying right here. Tap this right hand to the left shoulder. And 2. And 3. See if you can keep some symmetry in the body, even though you're lifting an arm and you've got a paper plate under one of your feet. Here's 6. And 7. And 8. Nice job. Hands down, knees down, switch to the right foot. Start in your table pose. Firm your core and pelvic floor and start gliding that right foot back. Right foot back. Keep your core, pelvic floor strong and lifted, engaged. Now here again, if you want to come to full plank, feet are a little bit wider than the hips. We're drawing in and back. If you're in table, just keep going. Pay attention to the core. 3, 4, 5. You've got this. Here's 6. You've got 2 more. And 8. Stay strong. Disc is under the right foot. Tap left hand to shoulder. See if you can minimize your movement. I'm doing a really bad job of it right now. But you see if you can do it. You can also drop those knees. Bring the left hand to tap. 2, 3. Keep the left hip heavy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring your hand down, knees down. Thank goodness. Sink your hips back. Yay. Interlace your hands, press forward. That was rough. I did that twice this morning. Press your hands forward. And again, stretch the index finger knuckles forward. Keep those elbows soft. And then stretch those arms all the way up. Release any tension in your biceps, triceps, shoulders, wrists. And then bring those hands back down. Take the left hand forward and draw those left fingers down using the right hand. And do the same thing with the right hand. Stretching out those wrists, getting ready for yoga. And roll your wrists a little bit. Flick your fingers or roll them in and out. Nice job. Find your table. Take a few rounds of cat and cow stretch here. So curl the spine and open the heart. And 2 more of those. We'll begin to move into a child's pose to prepare for our flow portion of the practice. So again, all you need for the flow portion is a block if you have it. And if you don't, that's cool too. Coming back to neutral, big toes touch, heels apart, knees apart. Sink your hips back. You can flip those palms to the sky if you feel some need for release here. Or maybe bring your hands behind your heart in prayer. Or next to your heels. Just find some release. Whew, I'm leaving marks of sweat there. I might need a little water. Or just grab some water. And we'll get ready for the second portion of our class this morning. Make sure you set your props out of the way so you don't stub a toe on a weight. We have had that happen. So just make sure that you have everything out of your way. Again, grab your block if you need it for the flow portion of our class today. And we'll get started in just a moment. Take a breath. Let it go. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Amy. Give yourself a moment to breathe and stretch and find some balance in your breath again. Inhale, exhale. Let things relax. Let it go. A lot of muscle energy in that bar portion of the practice today. A lot of everything. A lot of arms, a lot of legs, a little bit of core. All right, so when you're ready, we'll meet in a child's pose on the mat. Big toes touch, heels apart, knees apart. And again, pay attention to your core as we move through this practice together this morning. Stretch those fingertips forward. Come up onto the tips of the fingers like you have tiny little cupcakes underneath your hands. Sink back into the hips. Come on back up to table pose. Take a couple more rounds of cat and cow from here. So a little curl and a little open. Stretch the chest and curl and open. And last one. Curl it in and open it up. Come to neutral. We want to pay attention to the pelvic floor and core as we move through our yoga practice as well. So step forward with the right foot, left foot, coming into forward bend, easy knees, and shake your head out, knowing yes. Let your shoulders go, maybe hands to elbows. Float your hands to your waist, elbows to the sky, and rise all the way up to stand. Stretch out. And bring your hands to your heart. Beginning just like we did for the bar portion of the practice today, roll those shoulders out a few times. Nice big shoulder rolls back. Feel the heart open any amount. Beautiful. And a few rounds of sun breath. Stretch your arms to the sky. Take your hands down to heart center. 2 more of those. Inhale. Feet should be in Tadasana width. Get those last few wiggles out so you can find some stillness in your practice today. And hands to heart center. Lift and spread your toes. Feel grounded through the soles of your feet. Toes should be light. Knees are soft. Start to build that fire again in the pelvic floor and core. Feel the lift and engagement in the center channel of your body. Take a moment to reset your head for yoga. Still keeping a playful mind about all of it. With your in-breath, stretch your arms all the way up. Steeple your fingers, crescent moon, take it to the right. And bring it to the center, take it to the left. And bring it to the center through heart center, fold forward, sweet bend in the knees. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with your right foot, drop your right knee, low lunge. Toes can be curled or uncurled. Inhale, rise with your breath, settle in, exhale. Take one more breath in here, maybe lift your heart a little bit. Exhale, hands down, lift that right knee, step back, left foot. Pause here in your plank pose. Familiar if you just did bar, right? I feel like we were just here. Knees and chest and chin, or a chaturanga flowing through into the back bend of your choice. Perhaps it's a little bhujangasana, cobra pose, or a sphinx, or an upward facing dog. Stretching the chest forward, pull the shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, release to your downward facing dog. Whew, curl your toes, lift your knees, lift your seat. Stretch long with your right leg, 3-legged dog. I'm going to try not to kick my bar today. Curl in and step through. Low lunge, other side. Inhale. Settle in, exhale. One more breath, maybe to lift the heart. Exhale, hands down, step left to right, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let go. Soft knees, rise with your breath. Fingers steeple, bend to the right. Back to center, bend to the left. Back to center to heart. Inhale, reach wide, sun breath, wide arms to fold. Inhale, half lift, left foot steps back, left knee drops down, low lunge. Inhale, rise. Settle in, big exhale, inhale, lift. Hands down, right foot meets the left, plank pose, 3 breaths. 2 breaths. 1 more breath. Knees, chest, and chin or chaturanga, again coming into the back bend of your choice. Exhale to your dog pose. Lift your hips. Deep breath here. Full breath out, soft knees. Left leg rises, 3-legged dog. Take a breath in here, hips are balanced. Exhale, step through to your low lunge. Right knee drops down, arms rise. Settle in. Lift your heart, 2nd breath. Exhale, hands down. Lift that back knee, step it forward, right to left. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let go. Root to rise, up to stand. Hands to heart. Adding on, inhale. Chair pose, exhale. Utkatasana, fierce pose. Wide thighs, sitting bones lift, heart stretches forward. Take another breath in and out here. Rise with your breath, lift your heart. Exhale, wide arms, forward fold. Halfway lift, step back with your right foot, drop your right knee, low lunge. Inhale, rise with your breath, settle in. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hands down, step back, plank pose. Knees, chest, chin, chaturanga. Back bend of your choice. Downward dog, right leg rises, 3-legged dog. Curl knee to navel. 3-legged dog. You can also skip this. Knee to navel. 3-legged dog, knee to navel, step through, low lunge, opposite side. Drop the left knee, inhale, rise. Settle in, exhale. Lift your heart. Hands down, left to right, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let go. Root to rise, up to stand. Chair pose, exhale. Inhale, rise. Lift the heart. Wide arms, exhale, forward fold. Half lift, step back, left foot. Left knee drops down. Inhale, rise with the breath. Settle in. Another breath. Hands down, right to left. Plank pose, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to the back bend of your choice. Inhale. Exhale, dog pose. Take a breath in, sigh it out. Left leg rises, 3-legged dog. Exhale, curl it in, knee to navel or nose. 3-legged dog. Knee to navel. 3-legged dog, knee to navel, step through, coming back to that low lunge. Drop your right knee. Inhale, rise. Settle in, exhale. 1 more breath, lift. Hands come down, foot comes forward, forward fold. Nice warm-up sequence there. Inhale, half lift. And let it all go. Root to rise, all the way up to stand. Stretch up. Hands come to heart center. Nice job. Shake it out. Maybe get a drink. Maybe just stand here in Tadasana, mountain pose. From mountain pose, close your eyes, feel your feet again, your head rising to the heavens. Tap into your core, your pelvic floor. Soften your knees, your shoulders, maybe lift the corners of your mouth. Breathe. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. This time, press up through that left palm. Take a sweet little crescent moon to the right. Maybe start to roll those ribs open a little bit. And bring it back to center. Press up through the right palm, left hand to the right wrist, a little bend to the left. Again, perhaps rolling those right ribs open to look beyond your elbow. Slowly rolling it back to center. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up, rise. Exhale, chair pose. Deep breath in and out here. Tailbone lifts, heart stretches forward as if you're stretching in 2 directions. Root down, rise up, sweep your arms up, lift your heart. Wide arms, forward bend. Halfway lift, step back with your right foot, high lunge. Settle into your legs. Left knee is directly over the heel. Right heel stretches straight back. Maybe bringing your hands to your hips for balance. Feet should be in line with the hips, not with each other. Make sure you're really hugging those outer hips in. Reach your arms up. Soften your shoulders, your jaw. Take a breath and let it go. And another breath in. Exhale, heel down, open up, warrior two. Easy breath in here. Squeeze those feet together. Reverse that warrior. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Float that left leg back. Bend, twist, and open. Rise. Stack your hips. Open it up. Extend your legs. Square your hips. Curl knee to nose. Three-legged dog. This time we curl in to step through to that low lunge posture once again. Drop that left right knee. Now you can bring a block in. You can turn those left toes to the left and settle in. Maybe you're uncurling those right toes. Soften. Draw your belly, pelvic floor in and up. Keep your heart open. Maybe you can reach back for the top of that foot. Find a little bind here. Maybe you can reach back and just flex that foot in. Keep your spine tall, pelvic floor and core engaged. Beautiful. Take one more breath in here. Exhale, slowly release those back toes. Turn the left toes forward. Step forward, forward bend, right to left. Wiggle it out here a little bit, maybe hands to elbows. Inhale, lift halfway, fingertips to the floor or to that block. Exhale, forward bend. Root down, rise all the way up. Hands gather at heart. Inhale, reach up. Wide arms to fold. Halfway lift. And let it go. Step back this time with the left foot. Coming into that high lunge. Again, feet are on railroad tracks, not a tightrope. So the knees should be in line with the hips and the feet are not in line with each other. Hugging outer hips in, bring your hands to your waist. Strong legs. If you just did the bar portion, this is challenging, right? So keep squeezing the feet together for balance. Stretch back into that left heel as much as you can and raise your arms to the sky. Draw your belly and pelvic floor in and up. Feel the energy rise up your body rather than letting everything pull you down. Take another breath in. Slowly lower that left heel, coming into a wide warrior two. Deep breath in here. Full breath out. Reverse that warrior. Inhale. Settle in here. Exhale. Take one more breath, reaching up and back. Cartwheel your hands to frame. Three-legged plank. Pause. Three-legged dog. Ooh, good popping and cracking going on here. Bend, twist, and open. Stack that hip. Maybe circle your toes. Peek underneath your right arm. Extend your legs, square your hips, curl knee to nose. Three-legged dog. Curl in, step through, low lunge, drop your knee. Maybe bring that block in underneath your left hand or bring your left hand to the floor. Wiggle back a little through that left knee. Maybe you're uncurling the toes or keeping them curled. Turn the right toes out for a little twist. Settle into the front of that left hip. Again, maybe you have the bandwidth to bend and reach back. Maybe you're just bending that knee and flexing your heel into your seat. Keep your spine tall, whole lower body engaged, pelvic floor core. Two more breaths here. One more breath. Take your gaze to the earth. Lower those back toes. Right toes turn in, step forward. Whew, big step, forward bend. Again, easy knees and just find some balance now. Hands to elbows, maybe a blah, blah, blah. Make some noise. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Rise with your breath. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. One nice big flow now. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, palms down. Halfway lift, step back plank. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, flow as you like, or simply meet me in a downward facing dog. Left leg rises, three-legged dog. Take it all the way up and back. Maybe open it up for a breath or two. Curl in, step through, high lunge. Inhale, rise with your breath. Exhale, warrior two. Adjust your feet. Make sure you're in a good position for this warrior two pose. Reverse that warrior. Left hand flips, reach up and back. Coming back, warrior two. Stretch that front leg long. Reach forward and down. Maybe you have that block. Maybe you'll clasp peace fingers around your big toe if you can still keep the side body equally long. Maybe you'll simply float your hand behind your shin. Take another breath in here. Triangle pose. Drag those feet slightly apart. See if you can create a little more radiance. Bend your knee, warrior two. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Exhale, begin to bring your fingertips to float behind that left ankle. Maybe stretch that right hand forward. Maybe you'll place your hand on that block. Parsvakonasana. Now you've got a couple of options here. You can stay right here. If you've got it in you this morning, begin to pick up that back leg and rise to an Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. I'm going to turn so I don't hit my head on the treadmill. All right, so from here, you can stay here. You can bring your hand to your waist, move the block forward, and begin to play a little bit here, lifting that back leg and lowering it. Eventually, maybe you'll rise up to that half moon pose. Keep balance in that left foot. Maybe you'll bend that knee and bind like we did earlier in low lunge. And bow the heart open, bow the hips open. Maybe you can turn your gaze to the sky. Keep that big toe ball mound grounded. Take another breath in and out here. Extend everything and come down into your forward fold. Oh, that was fun. Bend and stretch your legs. Shake it out. Nice job. Hands to your waist. Firm your core. Rise all the way up to stand. Stretch up. We've got the other side. Hands come to heart center. I'm stepping back to my mat here. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, let it go. Step or hop, plank or chaturanga. Flow through. Knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga to your back bend of choice. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale that right leg long, three-legged dog. Maybe a little twist here. Last opportunity. And balance your hips, curl in, step through, feet are hip width, rise with your breath, high lunge. Squeeze the feet together, tap into the strength of pelvic floor and core, find that lift up from the earth. Open it up, warrior two. Again, we want to make sure the heels are in line, bend into that front knee, open your arms. Soft shoulder, soft jaw, smile. Squeeze the feet together, reverse that warrior. Getting really long through the right ribs and side body. Take another breath. Exhale, warrior two. Stretch your front leg long, dragging the feet apart now. Reach forward, reach down. Again, if you have that block there, perhaps placing your right hand on the block, peel that left arm open, triangle pose. Drag your feet slightly apart. See if you can create a little more space in each side of the body, a little more space from the heart out through the palms of your hands. Another breath in here. And bend into that right knee, rising back up, warrior two. Take a breath in, reverse your warrior. This time we're bringing that hand to hover behind the right ankle or to a block. Reaching that left arm either up or up and over towards the front of your mat. Tricep hovers above your ear. And this feels pretty good right now, I'm not gonna lie. So really stretching back into that left heel, reach your left fingertips forward. Now you're gonna stay right here if this is the better of the two options for you. Otherwise, float that left hand to the hip, maybe wiggle that block slightly forward, and play a little bit first. So lifting and lowering those left toes to rise up to your half moon pose. I think my head might be out of the camera, so I apologize if I am a headless half moon this morning. Flex those toes, roll your chest open. Again, if you want to take that bind, reaching back for the left ankle, perhaps curling your gaze up to the sky. Don't lose the big toe ball mound. You'll roll back. Find some resistance in that left leg. Take a nice deep breath in where you are. Beautiful. Again, radiance, extend in all directions. And exhale, forward fold. Oh, that felt so good. Bend and stretch your legs and shake your head out. Hands to opposite elbows. Whew. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let it go. Do that again, halfway lift. And let it go. Halfway lift, lift your heels, coming up onto the balls and toes of your feet. Bend your knees deeply, coming into a little tiptoe squat. Maybe walk your hands next to you. Maybe you can get a hand to your heart. Maybe both hands to your heart. Draw your belly in, get tall from your tailbone to your head, just like chair pose, stretching in two directions. Gotta use your core and pelvic floor for balance here. Begin to bring those fingertips down. Begin to lift your hips up. Tiptoes, tiptoes, stretch those hamstrings and slowly lower your heels down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let go. Inhale, half lift. Come back up onto the tippy toes and balls of the feet. Slowly begin to bend your knees, coming back to that little tiptoe squat. If this is hard on your knees or hips, I want you to sit on a block and widen your feet for Malasana. Hands to heart. Now you can stay right here. I'm going to give you that option. Or maybe you're going to sit down on that block and widen your feet out and stay right here in Malasana. Perhaps you want to play a little bit this morning and remove that block or use it as a landing pad. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows bent like chaturanga. Bring the big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. Lift those heels up in that little tiptoe squat again. Now, if you have issues with crow, getting those hips high enough, maybe you're going to hop up onto that block and lift the hips, hands under the shoulders. Make a shelf with the elbows. I just heard something the other day that kind of resonated with me because my son plays baseball, I guess. But imagine that your armpit is a baseball glove and you're trying to get the ball of your knee into the baseball glove, right? So get them as high up towards the mitt as you can. So hands under the shoulders, lift those hips, get those knees as close as you can to the baseball mitt, right? Your armpit baseball mitt. And then maybe lift a heel and tap it back down. Maybe lift the other heel. Keep the fire in the pelvic floor and core, or it's going to be really challenging to hold. Maybe lift both heels. Maybe start to stretch those arms a little longer. And then bringing those toes back to the floor, come into Malasana. So if you were already there, that's where we're all going. Feet a little wider than the hips, elbows at the inner knees, and sit up nice and tall. If you don't have the block, you're just hovering, hands at heart. If you've got the block, use the block. Again, feel that lift from the pelvic floor to the core. Heart stretches forward, crown of the head tall. Come back to your breath. And if you're up on your block, lift your hips, remove the block, and we're coming all the way down to the earth. I'm going to wiggle back here to my mat again. And lengthen your legs long. Begin to bring that right knee in towards your chest and baby cradle it. You can do that with your elbow creases. If you're doing this with your elbow creases though, just bring a hand to your knee and to your heel. Sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in here. And begin to float that right ankle on top of the left thigh without hyperextending that left knee for a seated pigeon pose. Flesh away from the seat, take a breath here, lengthen your chest forward. Maybe walk those arms forward. Maybe you want to tuck that left ankle underneath your right knee for fire log. And that'll work for you this morning. I don't think it's going to work for my hips this morning, but it might work for you. We're just hanging out here for a nice little stretch. Maybe you can reach your foot, maybe not. You'll just bring your hands down to frame your shin. Not a big deal. And breathe and stretch your spine in 2 directions. So imagine that your tailbone lifts up and your heart is reaching for your big toe. And slowly begin to walk it back up. Release. Give your legs a little shake. Baby cradle that left leg. Again, hand to heel and knee, or bring them into the elbow creases and hug it in. Again, without hyperextending that right knee. So if you feel like that right knee is really pressing down and it's harming your knee when you cross your left ankle, I want you to bring a lot of hugging in energy in. So imagine that you're squeezing your right heel in towards your hip, and that'll bring a bend to your knee. So you can see when I don't do that, how much the back of my knee presses in, and that kills my knee, honestly. So I have to really drag and bring some energy there to keep that knee from hyperextending. So do that if you need it. Let that left knee grow a little heavy. Stretch again, spine in 2 directions, and begin to fold. Again, if you want to tuck that right knee or that right ankle underneath the left knee, by all means do that. My hips are not doing that this morning. So you do you, as always. You do you. Stretch that chest forward. Keep the energy dragging back from heel to hip if you tend to hyperextend like I do. Slowly begin to rise up. Extend your legs. Give them a nice little wiggle. And plant your feet on the mat. Frame your thighs with your hands. Slowly bring yourself down as slowly as you can. You're only competing with yourself this morning, so if you want to flop onto the floor, I don't even know, because you're doing you, right? So curl down. Stretch your arms overhead, steeple those fingers, point your toes. And let your arms go, and windshield wiper your knees, bend your knees, and just let them wiper from side to side. Nice, slow, gentle rain. Maybe you'll hold to one side or the other if you're feeling that this morning. So you're more than welcome to stay here with knees bent, knees kiss at the middle of the mat, feet a little wider. Maybe you want to fold the soles of your feet together, knees apart for a moment. Or lengthen your legs for a standard Shavasana. You choose you, you do you, whatever makes the most sense for you as you begin to move on with your day. Let go of the core, let the belly muscles soften. Allow your glutes and your thighs to soften, your shoulders. Let go of any energy right now. There's no energy that you need right now, other than the movement of your breath. Take a breath in through your nose and a sighing breath out through your mouth. And maybe that helped you to release something that you were gripping or holding in your body, so you'll do that again. And notice what might be attaching in your head this morning. Perhaps a thought keeps coming back. Recognize it, notice it, and know that because it keeps coming back, you can let it go for this moment. It'll be there. You can remain in your Shavasana today as long as you like. You can just turn off the sound of my voice. Or you can listen as we wiggle the fingers and toes and begin to rise. Bend your knees. Maybe draw your knees to your chest, maybe a little rocking from side to side, or circle your knees. And begin to either rock to one side to press yourself up, or rock and roll a few times. Massage your low back and rock and roll to rise up to an easy seat. Coming all the way up to sit, whatever your easy seat might be this morning. Sit up nice and tall. Again, lengthen. Feel the lift from the floor to the head. Draw your hands to your heart. Close your eyes or take your gaze to the earth and connect to your breath once again. Take a moment to bring to mind a word, a phrase, a mantra, an intention as you move on with your day. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may your day and your life be filled with loving kindness. Thanks so much for practicing with all of us this morning. In gratitude, thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Mary will be back at 5:30. She's teaching not only our Namaste Facebook live stream, but also linked to the yoga on the screen, which is typically yoga on the green, but because we're social distancing right now, they're doing everything on the screen. So come back and join her at 5:30 for a slow flow. Have a great day.